Hello, everyone. My name is Jeanne-Marie Pinel, and I'm here with you as your parenting mentor. This is the name of my company, Your Parenting Mentor. And I really want to empower you to be the parent that you want to be the parent that your child needs you to be. And with that in mind, I wanted to share with you today some principles that I have come to understand to be kind of the foundation for us to set up our home and to prepare ourselves to be living with young children. So whether you are expecting, congratulations. Whether you've just had a child, congratulations. You are about to embark on an amazing journey, and that is of parenting and caring for another little human. And parenting to me is really about being your child's guide. We are not here to do everything for them or to be a servant to them, as much as that might seem like it sometimes at the beginning, but really we are here to guide them. And at the beginning, what is interesting is they guide us, because if we are aware of what they're needing and what they're trying to tell us, they will guide us in understanding what it is that they need. But to that effect, I kind of wanted to just go back a little bit. And so my background is Montessori education. And Montessori is really an approach to understanding human development, to understanding what our children need from us. And there are 6 fundamental, universal needs that all children on the planet need during the first 3 years of life. And that is love and security, really knowing that they are accepted, that they are wanted, that they are loved, that they are born in a safe place so that they have this trust in the world, right? And that they feel when they cry, somebody is paying attention and, seeing whether it is that they're hungry or tired or need change, or maybe they're bored or want to be held or whatever, but it is somebody is responding to that. So that is love and security. The other thing is the need for movement. And movement, if you are expecting, you might already be feeling movement. And so movement really starts at conception and goes until our last breath. And so movement is an essential need. And in your home, I want you to really be thinking of that as a need for your child to develop. So making it safe. And I often tell parents, get down, sit down on the floor and see the environment from your child's perspective, or crawl around your home to see where they might, get into and such. So movement is really important. So let's create a safe environment for them to move freely inside their own home, right? I'm not a big proponent of playpens or structures that are going to keep them restricted in their movement. So as much as we can, let's give them some freedom of movement in their home. The other thing is language. So we have to understand that language, children are born only with the potential. That means that if all of the brain centers of language are functioning properly, if their auditory organs are working properly, if their vocal organs are working properly, then they have this immense potential to acquire language. But language is a human interaction. It is, humans talking to each other, looking into each other's eyes and expressing themselves. So we need to be talking to our children from the moment they're born. And even when you're expecting, you can tell them stories. So really sharing your thoughts, sharing your feelings, saying what you're seeing, saying what you're doing to them, really giving them language all the time. Reading, singing, all of that. So it's the human interaction. It is not about, language on screens or all of that. It's really about the interaction between us. And children, really, even as newborns, they have things to say. They have expression on their face. So it's really about us helping them bring that out. So encouraging that as much as you can. The other need that all children have is this sense of independence, of wanting to do things for themselves. And so this, I really encourage parents to be thinking of that, of how you like to do things for yourself, like you like to figure things out. Well, children are no different. And especially the young child, when they do start talking, one of the first things they say is, me do it, right? They want to figure things out. So being vigilant to really, again, nurture that need for independence and wanting to do things for themselves. And children are extremely capable. They're way more capable than we give them credit for. So if they want to try to do something, if you could really be their coach and their guide to help them feel that they can do it, is really important. And now the other thing in the home is this notion of order. And when I talk about order, I'm talking about physical order. So things put away in a very simple, neat way, right? I really recommend putting things, either in little baskets on the floor or on a low shelf so that the child can see the different things, not too much, not over clutter, just, maybe 4 or 5 toys in baskets or on little trays so that everything is together and it's easy to recognize, it's easy to put away. And we do this, and this comes a lot from the Montessori philosophy, where we talk about preparing an environment for our children to be able to better adapt to their time, place, and culture. Because children come to us, everything is new. So if we can simplify what they see and they can start recognize where things go, they will be able to classify things in their brain a lot easier than, if there's a lot and it's kind of chaotic, then it can be a little bit overwhelming for their developing brain. So it's really this idea that external order, what we see, gives us internal order, gives us this ability to classify and make sense of our world. And then order is also having kind of a routine so that they feel secure and they can anticipate and they know what to expect. So the idea also, and I'll get into kind of the different areas of the home, but to have kind of precise areas in the home, this gives them a sense of, they have a point of reference. They know what to expect in certain areas. So that is also part of order, is that visual sense, but also the routine of where and how we do things, and that we try to be consistent so that every day it's kind of the same thing. And it really gives them that sense of security and just knowing what to expect so that they're not, discombobulated every time. And then lastly, it's this notion, and this will happen more when they're older, so not as much with the newborn, but you can start thinking about it, you can start modeling, and that is this idea of having boundaries, of having limits. Children need to have boundaries. That is part of that love and security that I talked at the beginning. They need to have a sense of what they can and cannot do. And we are there to guide them as to what are the boundaries of our society. The thing is to do it with kindness, with loving kindness. So it is what I call firm and kind limits. Firm because there is something going on and we don't want them to get hurt, or there are ways, in our community that we don't do, or whatever your boundaries are in your home. This is your home. You get to set the proper boundaries, but you do it in a loving, kind way, because they don't know. They're brand new to the planet. So we're guiding them with compassion and with loving kindness. So those were the 6 basic universal need of the child, of the young child. So love and security, movement, language, independence, order, and firm and kind limits. So that being said, let's look at how we're going to set up our home to satisfy those needs, right? So for me, the home consists in just 4 simple areas. That is the sleeping area, the feeding area, the movement area, and the physical care area. So if you can, from the very beginning, be thinking of where those 4 things are going to be happening, so that you can be consistent and really have a routine around that, that is ideal, and you are doing a fantastic job. Some homes do not permit that. Some, don't have maybe a place that they are there consistently. Whatever your situation is, as much as possible, try to have some sort of what I call points of reference. So knowing that, when you're put down in this little basket, this is where you sleep. Or when you're put down on a bed, this is where you relax and sleep. When when you're laid down on this little mat is where I'm going to take care of changing your diapers, giving you a little massage, or changing your clothes. So that's the physical care. And then the movement, what I mentioned, is this idea of trying as much as possible to have an open space that is going to be safe for your child to explore. So at first, the sleeping area, when you have a newborn, and sleeping is, so personal, and there's so many different ways of doing it, as long as it is safe, as long as everybody is getting sleep, because your sleep as a parent is extremely important too, is really up to you. You can room share, bed share, have a child in a different room, whatever works for you and for your child. And your child will let you know what works for them. Some people will think, oh, I'm going to bed share. And then they have a child who doesn't sleep and doesn't like to bed share and would rather be on a bed by themselves, or the other way around. So it's an evolving thing. But if you can have from the beginning a place where maybe for nap times and even nap times, you will always be placing your child there, is going to help them have that routine and have that consistency and know what is expected of them. In the Montessori way of setting up the home, we actually do not use a crib. So I know this might sound a little strange to a lot of people, but we use this idea of a floor bed, which is a mattress on the floor in a safe place, where the child is really going to have that freedom of movement, where when they are able to crawl off the mattress, they will be able to when they are awake and they've had enough sleep. And when they are tired, they will actually crawl to the bed and go lie down and take a rest. So it's I know it's a little bit different than what we're accustomed to, but look it up. It is amazing. I have seen it work for many families that I've worked with. I've seen it work for my own children, and it's just a beautiful way. And then there is really no transition from the crib to the toddler bed to another bed. It's just, you can even get a single mattress from the beginning and lie down with them at the beginning for night feedings and cuddling and all that. So that is an idea, the sleeping area using a floor bed. Then the other area, the feeding area. So the feeding area at first is really going to be for the adult, whether you are bottle feeding or breastfeeding, chest feeding, you want to be in a place that is going to be very comfortable, where you are going to be able to relax and really connect with your child, because this is a very important moment of bonding where you are giving them that message of love and security. So try as much as possible that is one without distraction, where you can really just enjoy and rest a little bit while you are feeding. And I know at first it seems like we're feeding, 24 hours 7, which we kind of are, but it's also time for you to recuperate. So if you can, make that a moment of enjoying it, then have a comfy place, whether it's on your bed, whether it's in a comfy chair, on a couch. Try to make it that you have everything at arm's reach, water, snack, breast pads if you're breastfeeding, anything that you might need that you want right there, is ideal. That will evolve as the child gets older and the child is introduced to solids. Then we can sit them at a little table, what we call a weaning table, or sit them at, a high chair where we can put them at the dining room table with us. So that evolves, but at first it's really about you being comfortable in whatever feeding method you are using. Then there is what I call the movement area. So the movement area is going to evolve because our child, especially that first year, evolves a lot. So at first, it can just be a mat, a thin futon, or some folded up blankets on the floor. If at all possible, up against a wall. So on that wall, you can put a horizontal mirror so that they can see themselves. So it's a mirror that's down low to the ground. They love to see themselves, and they get a lot of information about their body scheme and all of that. So that would be a simple movement area, just a few toys. I highly recommend just naturally made toys. So, wood, leather, natural metals, cloth, things like that, as opposed to plastic. And I highly, highly recommend, and this is for your sanity too, to not get any battery operated noise making toys. It's too much stimulation for their brain, and it gets annoying very quickly for us. So very gentle. And there's probably already a lot of things that you already have in the home that can serve as toys to explore. So keep things really to a minimal. You do not need much. They are, at first a mobile can be just a house plant where they just look at it and they're getting so much information into their brain. So keep things really to a minimal. And then that area will evolve because they are going to, learn to move completely naturally on their own. We're not propping them. They're going to roll over on their own and such. And when they get to a place where they are sitting by themselves, so they've rolled over both sides and they've gotten themselves in a sitting position, their arms start to want to reach for things. And here we can put a little what we call a coordination bar in front of that mirror, and they're going to pull themselves up to a standing position. And that's it. That's the movement area. Now, once they start crawling around, well, your entire place is going to become a movement area. So keep it safe. If you need to put a baby gate, to certain rooms that you don't want them to get into, that's good. If you want to put, a gate, try to make as big a space as you can for them. But here again, minimal toys, a low shelf with just a few things to keep it orderly is fine. And then once they start walking, well, then again, the entire place becomes, and there, we want to give a lot of purposeful work to the hands. But that's a whole other, that would be a whole other presentation. And then lastly, the physical care area. So that area, again, is going to be more for you, the adult, where you want to have everything at arm's reach, everything that you need to either change them or give them a bath or give them a massage or dress them. Try to prepare everything ahead of time because we never want to leave a child unattended. Um, and then here, this is, again, a time where you really connect with a child. So you want, if at all possible, have the changing area or the physical care area where you're looking straight at them. A lot of the ones I see were kind of sideways to them. So if we can be facing so we can tend to their body with equalness, on both sides, and then they don't have to turn their head so much and get kind of, a twisted neck. So facing forward. And this here, we're going to give a lot of language. We're going to tell them what we're doing, that we're changing them. Can you give me your arm? I need to put your sleeve in, and wiping your behind. All of these things, we let them know what we're doing. And then this is also going to evolve because at some point the child is not going to want to be laid down to change. We start maybe changing them standing up in the bathroom. Then we start, toilet independence. Then they start getting themselves dressed. So that physical care area that was first for the adult becomes more of a self-care area for the child so that they can become independent in toileting, getting themselves dressed, and so forth. So that was really, in a nutshell, the basic universal needs of the child and the 4 areas on how to properly set up your home for young children, the Montessori way. And you can reach out to me. Again, my name is Jeanne-Marie Penel. I am your parenting mentor, and my website is yourparentingmentor.com if you want more information. I actually have a little download on setting up the nursery where I will repeat a lot of what I've said. And I was delighted to be part of this event and really to be able to support Baby to Baby organization that does so much around this country to help families in need because there are many families who need our support. And so I was delighted to be a guest here. Thank you so much.